Greetings, this is Chuck Donnelly. I'm demonstrating the Google Earth web browser today. We're looking at the Grange Redevelopment project located in the city of Westminster, north and west of Denver. First thing I'm going to do is turn on the existing Grange buildings, and in addition I'm going to turn on the Grange Tour. That's a radio button, and it'll start to fly into the landscape so you can see those buildings. Notice that down at the bottom left here in the 3D viewer there is a controller for this tour. As it tips the landscape down, I'm going to hit the pause button and we can start to see these in context. Here is the Grange building, here's the rodeo building, and the fire station. So we've actually created 3D buildings depicting existing buildings using SketchUp, and we've loaded those into Google Earth. Now I'm going to turn that off and I'm going to turn on the Grange redevelopment plan and take that controller and zoom out a little bit. So I'm just running that slider bar so now I can see the proposed road alignments, landscaping, proposed buildings. Those building locations have been modeled as well, so I can turn on the proposed Grange buildings and you can see them start to appear. I'm going to turn off the redevelopment plan and we'll launch this 3D viewer again so it'll start to run a tour to come back in and look at those individual buildings. I'm going to pause that now, and I can use my left mouse button and pan this. I'm going to push it up and a little bit to the left so I can start to see the individual buildings that we're talking about. Okay, in addition, there's a park plan for this area back behind the rest of the development. Turn off the Grange buildings. Again, zoom back out just a little bit so we can start to see that proposed park plan. Here's again the Grange building and the rodeo building, and you can see that there's park facilities that are located in this area. Let's turn that park plan off and let's look at it in 3D. So we can launch that 3D viewer again. It'll come back in as a tour. And when it gets close, I'm going to pause that. And now I'm going to use that left mouse button again and pan just a little bit so I can see what the future park would look like. And some of these improvements have actually been installed recently. I can turn those off and you can see that we have this circular sidewalk area. We have the tree planted in the center and some existing vegetation trees that have been planted along the streetscape. Let's back out again. And there is a parcel map. This identifies ownership parcels located in the redevelopment area. These might be useful in identifying actual owners and determining how the redevelopment might occur. Turn that off, and there is a Grange building photo. So this is an actual photo of the Grange building. I'm going to double click on the camera that just appeared, and it will zoom in so that you can actually see a regular photograph taken of that location. Let's zoom in a little tighter and you can see the full details of what we're talking about. I can exit the photo and we'll tip this down a little bit, zoom out a little bit, and I can turn back on those 3D buildings and you can start to see how that Grange photo depicted the actual building. Okay, we'll turn that off and turn off the building photo, and now we're going to go to Street View. We'll click on that and let it launch. This is a set of photographs that have been taken along streets in various areas in the United States. So we're entering that and kind of going out of Google Earth and into Street View. And you can see that as it slowly loads up the actual photographs, I can use my left mouse button, turn, see the rodeo building, or I can turn to the west and look down the street. I can double click on another location, it'll move down the street, and I can see the buildings that are located in that area. Notice that I can now exit the Street View. So we'll click on that, we'll zoom back out again, and we're going to go back to the Grange tour, and I'm going to pause this and I'm going to show the 3D buildings. This takes a moment to load up, but this is a limited data set that's only available in the Denver area and other limited areas in the United States, and it actually uses LiDAR data and imagery to depict 3D buildings and trees, vegetation. And notice that you've got actual trees that are starting to appear there. It does not do as good a job as the SketchUp models for showing what the buildings would look like. If I hide the 3D buildings and turn on the existing buildings, you can see how we've modeled those more accurately, and they have a little bit better detail. But the 3D buildings is still a very interesting option for exploring the site and recognizing where the vegetation improvements are. So that gives you a quick overview of how this software works. It's a fairly simple web browser, uses a plugin that you should be able to install automatically. Feel free to try it and on this location in the Grange, and perhaps it'll be applicable to your site.